Great. Hi. Morning, everyone. Welcome to In Conversation with Johnny Nelson. I'm Kavya Anderson Tufnell from Madison HR. And Madison HR, what do we do? We provide HR support for all those SMEs on anything people related, whether it's policies, handbooks, but something that falls underneath all that HR is diversity and inclusion. And it's a topic that's very important to us. So what we've been doing is reaching out to people that are very passionate on the topic. And so we're really delighted to have Johnny Nelson here. I've got a whole range of questions for you, Johnny. Johnny is a pundit for Sky and a former undefeated WBO world champion boxer. Did I get that right?
That's right. Yeah. We're in the same vein, Paul. We got the right sport.
Yeah, good. Yeah, no cricket, no football. Great, sorted. But I also saw on LinkedIn that you're a motivational speaker on a range of different topics. Mm-hmm. And things that you're obviously really passionate about. But what I saw on there is that you do talk about diversity and inclusion, which is why I wanted to have this chat with you today. Okay. And something I really appreciated when we had our quick catch up the other week was that you said, just get people to send me questions. I'm open to answering questions because that's one of the things I think you find is people don't want to ask something because they feel they're going to be classed as racist or ignorant, and they just keep it all inside and don't say anything. And you were just, bring it on, ask all the questions. So thank you for that.
I think, well, I suppose it's like at the beginning when you said I've seen the questions, and actually don't want to look at the questions until you throw them out at me now. And then you've got it from the heart and the soul, and it's more authentic and honest, and it's not prepared, and then you understand that a lot of things that we talk about is really common sense, that we have to try and adhere to move forward.
Yeah. And so I guess we're talking diversity inclusion. Why are we talking diversity inclusion? Should we be talking about it? There's a global pandemic happening. Why are we talking about it?
Well, it's not a trend.
Yeah.
That's number one. And number two, the BLM movement has hit the headlines of late. Again, that's not the reasons are not a trend. But the issues in the past have been that issues have happened. We can go back years and years and keep picking up this happened then, and we seem to have the same argument now as we did then, and nothing was done. I think now is the time, and I don't know if it's more awareness from both black and white, where if we're going to make a difference, if eyes are on the world, on humans, on both cultures, on politicians. If eyes are on that, this is the time, because we don't say if we don't try and fix it, they can have the same argument in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, 30 years' time. This is going on forever and a day. I think it's most important. This conversation needs to be had on many platforms, and trust me, I understand. There'll be a certain sector of the community that is sick of hearing it, because both black and white, for different reasons. White because, I don't know, they probably feel browbeaten, or there's a thing called white shame, where it's not their shame. It's it's just that uncomfortable, ignorant feeling of ignorance. Black, because there'll be an element of black people that think, don't be shine the spotlight on us now, because we just want to get through and get on with what we're doing. So when you raise your head up and when you start talking about things like I'm doing now, I know I'd then become a target. I know I'd then become an issue. I know I'd then become a talking point. Oh, you said that wrong. You said this wrong. But it takes people to discuss things. I'm no university graduate. I'm no brain box. My university is life. My university is common sense. What I see, what I hear, what the countries I've seen. The people I've seen, the dramas I've seen, it's common sense. Yeah. And as we go on, you'll understand a lot of things. It's actually just common sense. We have to just sometimes put emotion out of the way and just use common sense to move forward.
Yeah, I think life experience has got a lot to say in this. Yeah. And I know that you also talk about mental health as well, but how do you think mental health people from a BAME background can support their mental health during this challenging time?
From a what background?
A BAME.
I think mental health discriminates against nobody. Everybody is affected. Everybody and anybody, no matter what creed, colour, religion, mental health can affect you. So there's no different solution for your different backgrounds. The solution is within ourselves, and it's about talking. Guys, especially guys, and I'm not dismissing the women, but especially guys. I can speak from a guy's point of view. We are so we think it's weak, or we think it comes across as weak, or we don't want to come across as weak. So therefore, there's an old term saying, an old school term saying is loopy. Loopy is actually that information you're looping around in your head, looping around your head, looping around it. The same emotions here, the same emotions there. It's there. Until we make it come out of here and speak about it, then we're not going to find a solution to this thing that's going around in our head. So we can make it 10 times worse than what it is, or as minimal as what it is. But once we start talking about it, once we start hearing we are not the only people, individuals, that we are not the only person in that kind of drama, in that kind of headspace, and we hear others speak, and or we hear the words actually come out, and our translation of emotions of what's happening just may be wrong. Everybody needs a mentor in some shape or form. It can be a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a friend, a stranger, a professional. And that person is a person you can talk to. That person is a person you can that can try and simplify and translate what you're getting wrong, what we're misunderstanding, translate something that we think is a catastrophic drama, and say, well, actually, it's not the end of the world. We all have our problems, and we think, I can't tell them that because that's not a big deal to them, but it's a big deal to us. So therefore, if you have a problem, it's your world. It's a big deal to you. But because we're scared of thinking we don't want to come across as fickle or weak or whatever, we try to keep it up there and not share it. What you've got to do is talk. When you talk, then you translate. When you translate, then you get a better understanding of a situation, of a drama, of a crisis, of something that is getting us down. And that is the beginning of getting better. Yeah. If we keep it there, it's going nowhere. It's just going to get worse. We can hide it. We can pretend I'm not dealing with it. Yeah, we can hide it, pretend it doesn't exist and think, no. But one day you're going to look and it's going to catch you again. So it can lay dormant for years, 10, 20, 30 years. But you are eventually going to check it out and deal with it. When you deal with it and think, right, let's get this out there. Let's get this dealt with. That is where, that is the beginning of getting better. That is the beginning of getting a better understanding of that mental health, making it better and stronger.
And obviously we're in a pandemic, everyone's having to adjust their lives. How have you kept yourself positive, your mental health positive?
I'm a very positive person, but I've not always been mentally strong. I've not always been mentally on it. I've learnt by experiences, and with experiences come wisdom. The good and bad experiences are the best things for us in life. So when things are great, it's good. When things are bad, you're thinking, why me? You need both of them to get wisdom, so you can think, right, all right, now I know I am. And if anybody that's watching this, if you think maybe 10 years ago, there was something dramatic, something big happening in your life, you think, oh my God, this is my world. And now looking back, you think, boy, it actually wasn't that bad. So at the time, we think it's everything. But then a solution is found. Look back on that. Look, a solution is found. Think, oh my God! I thought at the time I thought it was so bad. And so basically, it's being able to just be more understanding, more patient, think more logically. And what we do is we know if we go down, we start thinking about that, it's going to take them down a dark path. We're going to feel a certain way. It's going to take us into, it might take us into doom and gloom of depression. Or we can keep positive, looking that way, thinking, right, I'm going to deal with this. But what happens is we think, no, I'll go down there. I don't go down there. I think I've been there before. I know what upsets me. Why am I getting myself into a situation where I know it's just going to snowball into something of nothing? Why? I don't have to do that because I know what's down there. So if I stay positive, think positive, I'm a kind of a glass half full kind of guy. And you think like that, your life can be good. Listen, my friend, my ex-wife, we split up about three years ago. We're actually good friends. We live next door to each other.
Okay.
And my friends come around, they're like, "What? How's that work?" We get on so well. You know, she and we get on well. And because it doesn't have to be, people try and conform to what they think is conventional. You conform to what works for you. So just because a person isn't in your life doesn't mean you have to be bad to them. Doesn't mean you have to fall out. Doesn't mean you have to be horrible. You just think, all right, that part of your relationship is not there. But if you've got family, you've built things, you've built a life together. It makes you family. And you live your life separately, and it can be done. And I know I'm happy, and it can be done. My wife's happy, my girls are happy because of the situation. But I've seen so many situations like mine that have exploded, and it affects so many different things: the child's welfare, mental health, mental state. The husband and wife fallout. It's so sad because there are so many. There's always a way you can always find a way. There's a solution to everything, and you've just got to be honest with yourself and be able to be practical and think, you know what, put ego to one side. Let's just deal with it here. Let's just move on with life. But it doesn't have to be horrible. And I'm in a good place. And a lot of people, when they see it, they think, I get that. I wish I was in that setup. It works for me.
Yeah. And you mentioned your children there. How have you taught your children to deal with racism or have conversations about it?
Okay, so when it comes to racist behaviour, I remind my children it is not them, it is the individual. So therefore, it's not your problem; it's their problem. So don't invest in their hatred, their bad feeling, their attitude, their chip on their shoulder, because that is their problem. You know, you be you. And if you're you, then you just think, you know what? You can't answer, you can't fix everybody. You can't answer every question. You can't debate with every single person that says something that you don't agree with. So what I do is I explain to them that is them, you know, and once you start acting like them, you become them. So you start acting like you express hatred, you express anger, you express bitterness, because that is what they're showing you. Then you're becoming them. Be you. So make them look at you and think, actually, I want to be like her. I want to have the same attitude as her. You don't want to be like that. And then that way, you just don't buy into it. Of course, these things are going to happen. Of course, you're going to come across these sort of people. And I have done in my life. And it's just how you deal with it. And emotionally, of course, your initial outburst will be anger. You'd be upset. And that's human nature. But you've got to think logically. How are you going to deal with this? Now, there's two ways you can deal with this. You can deal with the here and now and express the anger and be upset and fight and argue. That's what they want. Yeah, that's what they like. Or your success says it all and just be you. Say, all right, that's you. Leave them in their shoes. You know, you don't need to embrace on that. You don't need to engage in that. That is their issue. They have a journey they've got to go through. They've got to have an understanding they've got to get through. You don't have to go that road with them. You don't have to get into that drama with them.
Yeah. And no, that's really useful. And I think, have you ever experienced racial profiling or stereotyping yourself?
I was asked this years ago. I was actually asked if I'd experienced any racism, and I actually thought, and then when all of a sudden I thought, oh yeah, and it just started to pop through. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. And because my attitude is like that I've just explained, I give to my children, I actually never took it on board because I think it's not my problem, it's your problem. I'm good. The worst case scenario, and I'm quite sure, trust me, there's going to be worse stories than this. Might be nothing to anybody's somebody else's story. But for me, there are many occasions. The story I tell people is to me it's an inspiring story because so when I was younger, I used to go to the ice skating rink, and most of the guys from my school they were white guys, and we'd go down there to the ice skating rink, and sorry, I only went once. So the one time I went, you know, when you give your boots in and then you swap for your shoes, you get the skate and come back. And when I came back, the guy behind the counter wouldn't give me my shoes. I could see my shoes. So he took my skates, but I could see my shoes. I said, my shoes are there. He said, no, you've not got a ticket, so you have to wait. I'm like, but they're my shoes, and these are the boots that go in that hole. You have to wait. They're not your shoes. I need a ticket. You have to wait till everybody's gone. I'm like, well, everybody come out. Boom. Everybody gone. I was the last one in. And this guy's saying, no. And I'm like, I'm young. I said, but there's nobody left. They're my shoes. These are your skates. They're mine. And the cleaners, I could see the cleaners behind him, like, shaking their head. And this guy was proper. I was young at the time. This guy was, now looking back on it, you'll see, understand how bad it was as time's gone on. He walked around the back into the office. One of the cleaners came and gave me the shoes. She said, look, get out quick. I took the shoes and went out. I'm thinking, why me? What did I do? You know, what? And so in my head, I'm thinking, what did I do? I was upset because I didn't understand why. Why me? And then years later, me and my friends started to do a few promotions in and around Sheffield, music events. And where the ice skating ring is, I'd forgotten all about this incident. Where the ice skating ring is, there's a nightclub next to it. And so we thought we'll see which nightclub we can hire. So he did all the posters and I was the one that did the business side of it, did the negotiation with the club or whatever. So I phoned up this particular club. I forgot about what happened in the incident there. It was in the daytime. I said, inquired about hiring a club, and he said, what kind of event will it be? And I told him R&B, a bit of lovers rock, you know, it'd be a good, nice event. He went, I tell you what, come down, let's have a conversation. Yeah, sure, no problem. And he said, at 2:00 in the daytime, I was like, oh, I put my shirt on, put my tie on, took my little briefcase, went to the club. As I got to the club in the day, walked up the stairs. Outside his office, there was 2 big bouncers on the door. Oh, it's daytime, nobody's here. What's this for? That's what I'm thinking to me. I thought, that's a bit odd. Anyway, walked in. As I walked in, this guy, look at me now. He's at his desk. You can just see the top of his head. He's writing. He went, sit down. And I'm like, oh, how am I approaching this meeting? Think quick on your feet, Johnny. How can I help you? Well, you can see the top of his head. I start to go into spiel. It's an R&B night, play lovers rock, play this, and this. He said, what kind of crowd would you be expecting to that? I said, what do you mean? Then he sat up and looked. He said, what? Excuse my language. He said, well, I've got a bit of a problem, you see. So yeah. You've got black people and you've got niggers.
Wow.
And black people are all right. All right, you see how you sat there now? This is the thing. Black people are all right, but niggers, can't stand them. Long hair, they stink. And I'm like, Ross. Just as you're shot there, I'm like, is this for real? And so I went, yeah. He went, I don't really want them kind of people in my club. Bring the tone down. If you can say it's just blacks, I don't mind them, but not having them niggers in. Kept saying, I'm like, trust me, my heart's beating hard. My heart was beating hard. I'm, be cool, Johnny. And the reason why I think I could hold it down a bit is because I was fortunate to meet a man called Brendan Ingle, and he was an Irishman, and he taught us in the gym, because we knew whenever we went to box anywhere, you could box in anybody's backyard, and you're going to get abuse, and they're going to I could go and box in London, and these fans will be there, and these fans will be shouting, you black, this, that, they're going to say these things to get in your head to mess you up. He said, you've got to understand these are words, and until they touch you, these are words, they're trying to get to you. So I knew when this guy's saying niggers and blacks, I'm like, this guy's trying to get to him. Thinking, you know, when you're so angry, you want to cry. I took a deep breath. I said, you know what? Okay, thank you. Thanks for your help. I appreciate it. Give me time. I pulled the chair back to stand up. You know, door bust open. The two big bouncers rushed in. So that tells me it was a preconceived setup. They're thinking I'm going to react in a certain way, so they can come in and give me a beating and dash me out. So I now know the setup, and the bouncers looked in the door like that, and I turned around and say, and I walked out, went downstairs. My heart was broken, absolutely broken. I was mad, angry, and again I thought, why are people so bad? Why? Because I just thought, I've never done anything to this man. I don't know this man. Why? And so all the questions a youngster would ask you, it's going to infuel you with hatred. It's going to infuel you with bitterness. I'm like, kill me. Anyway, years gone on now. I've got a bit of a name in Sheffield. Sort of boxing. I'm in the newspaper. I'd won some title. So in Sheffield, they decided to honour me at the Sheffield City Hall. And all the businessmen, a lot of businessmen that were a part of this sort of setup, they were going to be at this event. They wanted me to talk at this event. And so the event started, it was packed out. All these businessmen are sat on the stage. As I'm looking for the back door, I'm thinking, wait, I recognise that guy from somewhere. Anyway, so they announced me, and as I walk in, they all stand up, and I'm shaking the hands of the walker going down, saying, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. I knew it was him. It's the same guy from the club who was the same guy from the ice skating ring. He's the same guy, the same. I thought, God, he's good. And I got up to this guy, got his hand, and held his hand, and pulled him close to me and said, listen to me. I know exactly who you are. By the time I get to the end of this queue, if you're still here, I'm telling everybody in this building exactly who you are and what you've done. All done. Shook hands. This guy gone, scarpered. He left. So he just got up and he left. We didn't even start. I'd not even got to the end. He left, seen the door shut behind him. Now I knew that was the sweetest feeling ever for me, because I now know whenever I get the chance, I tell that story. And he now knows that the circles of people who tried to give the impression he was this sort of person was, I'm going to tell them who he is. I'm going to tell them what sort of person he is. You know, this was proper out-and-out hatred, racism, because I don't know this man. Even from a youngster, I've not done anything, so it's not that he disliked me through the boxing, because I was a youngster and I skated with my mates. Again, I was a little nobody trying to hire a club. He didn't know me then. Again, now I'm somebody. This guy, the penny, to me, this is proper deep-seated, deep-rooted ignorance, hatred. Now, I could have dealt with it differently in the club and got to attack him over the table, probably catch the beating, and they said, yes, that's what black people are like. But I didn't. I did what I told my kids to do. It's okay, I'm saying, you know, what's your problem? That's your problem, that's you. You stay where you are. But that was the sweetest feeling ever, knowing that guy had to leave, knowing that guy had to walk out of the place, knowing that guy felt so ashamed because he was that courageous about what his beliefs or what he thought. He would have stayed there. He showed himself to be a coward, a racist, a bully. And how I dealt with it, it rose above him. He couldn't say I did anything wrong, apart from exposing. Yeah. So that's just one of the occasions and how I dealt with it growing up. But what I'm saying to you is, there are many cases which are a lot more blatant, a lot more physical than what I've just discussed here. But so and this is, I live in Yorkshire, you know, so I'm gonna come across it. But yeah, that's one of the occasions where I found myself in a situation where I thought, wow, you know, why questioning human nature, people? I'm thinking it's just wrong. Yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned the Yorkshire thing, because I think I mentioned that I grew up in Yorkshire. I'm from Yorkshire, from near Wakefield. Yeah. And my next question is, talk about stereotypes and things. Are people from the north friendlier than people from the south?
Oh, hell yeah. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Without a doubt. Listen to me. I live in Sheffield. I went to my ex-wife from Huddersfield. So when I first met in Huddersfield, I've never actually been in Huddersfield. Huddersfield is one of the most multicultural towns I've been in. Black, white, Asian, Oriental, and everybody, not everybody, I can't say that because I don't know everybody. The majority of people got on. They worked together. And I saw it. I used to see it, and like an old couple, an old black man and an old white one walking down the street. And my wife would say, yeah, they've been together 40 years. I'm like, what? You know, and I just find people from up north, we're warmer. You know, they're not going to double take when you say hello to somebody in the street like they do down south and say, what's wrong with you, what do you want? Up north, that's how it is. Most people are like that. They'll talk and they'll tell you how it is. I love Sheffield. I love being in Yorkshire because people are pretty straight. If you're rubbish, you're rubbish. If you're good, you're good. They ain't going to kiss your ass, you know. And most of them, I like being from up north. And I think they're a lot more friendly. And I wouldn't move down south. I love going down south. I love paying a visit. I love leaving. I love and the opportunities down there work-wise are great, but I love coming home. And that's funny thing is I had a couple of cameramen up here this morning, and they drove up from London, and they couldn't believe how peaceful it was. And as we were driving to do some filming somewhere else, they couldn't believe it, how kind people were. Sheffield, and this is fact, is one of the Sheffield University. Is one of the few universities where most students want to stay in Sheffield. And the only reason why they move out is because they can't get work in the work that they studied for in Sheffield, and they love it here in Sheffield. And if you meet somebody that's been to Sheffield, I think you'd be hard pushed to find someone that says they don't like Yorkshire. So the answer to that is yes, we are a lot warmer than the Southerners.
I know. Going to diversity and inclusion again, we talked right at the beginning about whites and people talking about it. We had Black Lives Matter, the horrific deaths of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and some people are saying it's horrific and they acknowledge that, but is it just an American problem?
No, it's not. It's not. It's a worldwide problem. I think the problem in America, it's probably got that blatant, that blatant, that in your face, that it's not as discreet anymore. It's more discreet elsewhere. Whereas in America, they're a different breed. It's a different breed. There's a different mentality over there in regards to attitude in regards to race, which is sad. And again, America, you know, they have policies that I don't agree with. Thinking everybody should have a firearm, you know. So it's a different way of life over there. But the rest of the world is probably it's more probably not. It's probably more subtle. Not as bad, but it's probably more subtle. But again, these things have to be dealt with, no matter where you are in the world.
Yeah. I've got a question from someone who's obviously a boxing fan. I'm just going to read it out. Just apart from donking, why do you think there aren't more black promoters? We used to have Ambrose Mendy, but now it's more dominated by promoters such as Hearn and Warren.
Yep, Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. Eddie Hearn's father did it, Barry Hearn. Frank Warren was part of the Mickey Duff era and people like that. He's a youngster coming through, I think. And again, this is a conversation we were having yesterday with my brother. And so we're talking about not just boxing promoters, we're talking about jobs in high places and seeing people of colour there. And I understand that there aren't many people of colour in these sort of positions. Now, what are the reasons are this? One or the other. Either that people of colour are not being given the opportunity in regards to not being made to know it's available for them to apply or feel comfortable to apply for these positions, or people of colour don't think the door is open to us. And so therefore you apply. So it's about application. So there's nothing stops a black promoter coming on the scene and running things. And so that's about money. It's about contacts. That's about what you got and what you want to invest. Because in America, there's the likes of Al Heyman. Al Heyman, he is a top dog. He's a man of colour. Al Heyman's out there and he's done an amazing job. And so it's a case of how much you want to get in and how much you want to have to battle and challenge these people. And you've got to have money coming out of you and prepared to lose that. So I do think when it comes to a promoter's level, if you're a good promoter that's got TV and you've got the contacts and you've got the chat to get the fighters to come to you, I don't think it matters what colour you are. I really don't, because every promoter, when they first get into the game, the doors are closed to them. It happened to Frank Warren. They all tried to shut him out. He squeezed through. It happened to Eddie Hearn. They tried to squeeze him out, squeeze through. It happened to Ambrose Mendy. Ambrose Mendy, they tried to squeeze him out. They'll pick holes in his character to stop him from getting through. He didn't get through. So the opportunity is there, but it's not an easy task to get into. So I don't think it's because you're black, you ain't going to be a boxing promoter. It's not an easy task. So I think and I don't see how being black. Because if I was a fight coming through and there was a black promoter there, and he was doing all the things that Eddie Hearn was doing, I'd go with him. But they're in.
Yeah.
They might be down the line. At the moment, they're in.
Yeah. And I'm on to my last question, Johnny. So it's
I
October. I know.
I talk too much. Go on.
No, it's good. It's Black History Month. What does Black History Month mean to you? And are you doing anything to celebrate? Or
so Black History Month means to me. To me, it's important because Black History Month it's a time for our history to be expressed, to be discussed, to inspire both black and white people, to show that there are successful people of colour, men and women, and not just in sport. Because not everybody can be an amazing sportsman, but it's a time where we will talk about black inventors, black emperors, black kings, black queens, black professors, successful black people that use that are rubbed out of history or conveniently forgotten about or not discussed. Black History Month is about inspiring youngsters to see inspirational people, to see, I want to be like him. Oh, I didn't know that. I could be just like him. That's what Black History Month to me is about. It's about awareness for people of colour and white people to see that we have positive role models that have made a massive difference to the world we live in today. Those positive role models of colour. And unless you dig and unless you look hard, you ain't going to realise, well, actually, that's a black woman or a black man that did that. I didn't know that. It's about awareness. So Black History Month to me is a chance for us to change the narrative, to show people that we're not just amazing sportsmen or women. We've got some amazing brains, and we want to inspire the youngsters coming through to say, I want to be like that. Because if I keep showing you a negative image of someone of colour, then how is that going to inspire you to be what? Because you're going to try and be inspired by somebody that's white and think, well, when it's hard, well, they've got it because of white. I want to show you that people of colour can do this as well, and you can be just like them. And instead of being in front of the camera, let's be behind the camera. Let's be at the top of industry. Let's be on the board. Let's be creators, and it has been done. But it's convenient to push things out and forget about things. It's about education from young. It's about how you educate, how you inspire, and how you ignite the imagination of youngsters coming through. Black History Month is that. And and the older generation is saying, well, why are we just doing it, putting it to October 1 month? No, we're not. The older generation, I was like, doing my mum's feet the other day. She sent me 92, doing her feet the other day, complaining as usual, picking up toenails, doing her feet, I foot my dumb. And she said to me, she was just talking about, rumbling on as usual, talking about when she worked at home in Jamaica, and yes, and Mr. Manley said, I'm like, and she kept saying, Mr. Manley. I went, what, you mean Norman Manley? She went, yeah. So it transpired my mum worked for the former Prime Minister of Jamaica. I didn't know, but it was just a conversation. I'm like, what? So she said, yeah, he was trying to send me to school, to college to study, and Mum said no. I'm like, what? So what I'm saying is, there is so much history that we don't know about unless we listen, unless we're told, unless it's opened up to us, that is at our fingertips, that we don't know. Black History Month, it shouldn't actually be about that month. It should actually be there. But we have a month that's dedicated to pushing forward and inspiring youngsters and educating both black and white people that we are not just amazing sportsmen and women, that our contribution to the world, to society, is bigger than you would ever imagine. And that, to me, is what Black History Month is about.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Is there anything you wanted to add before we finish our conversation?
No, I'm good. Fire away.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Johnny. And yeah, I'll let you know when it's up on social media, and we'll have a chat then.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
You take care. See you
Bye.
later.